Hello guys, this is Movie Shorty, welcome to the channel. Today we will explain the thriller and action film titled Haunters. When Cho-in was very young, the mother knew that her eyes possessed terrifying superpowers. To prevent Cho-in from using the superpower, the mother wrapped a thick bandage around her son's eyes and began to take charge of her daily life. The mother and son hiding were quickly found by his ex-husband, who liked beating her ex-wife. Listening to the wailing of her mother when she was severely beaten by his ex-husband, Cho-in, who couldn't bear it, still gave up the bandage and controlled his biological father to break his neck in public. After all this happened, Cho-in's mother was deeply frightened. So she was about to strangle her son and throw herself into the river. Cho-in bites the mask and then controls her mother with his eyes and runs to the river. The mother woke up in time, and she escaped, but Cho-in had already left and embarked on the road of escape. 20 years have passed in a blink of an eye. Cho-in has grown up and is isolated from the world. He relies on his superpowers to live a worry-free life of clothing and food. While Gyu-nam, who works in a car repair shop, is a young man with an optimistic nature. Fatherless and motherless, he lived with his friends, but he was hit by a car when he received a gift on his birthday. Fortunately, Gyu-nam survived the tragedy and his recovery was extremely fast. It didn't take long for him to regain his health and find a new job. When he was familiar with the workflow, the employer urged the boss Young-sik to tell Gyu-nam that his money was always stolen inexplicably and he couldn't find the reason. So he installed a CCTV. The boss has a beautiful daughter, Young-suk. Gyu-nam was deeply attracted to him when he first met him. Young-suk also told Gyu-nam that he was only here to help temporarily. His real dream was to be a stewardess. Today is Gyu-nam's first day of work. His friends Ali and Bubba came to visit. But when they are talking happily, the small door of the house was suddenly pushed open and everyone in the house stayed where they were as if they had lost their souls. It turned out that the person who had been stealing Boss Jun-sik's money was Cho-in. When he walked into the house, he wanted to control Boss Jun-sik to open the safe and take the money as usual, but he didn't expect Gyu-nam, who was sitting on the sofa, regain consciousness. Cho-in, who had never encountered this situation, was surprised. He immediately controlled Ali and Bubba to stop Gyu-nam's advancement. Gyu-nam, who was boundless, quickly broke free, so Cho-in controlled Young-suk and stabbed Gyu-nam from behind. Gyu-nam couldn't bear it and rushed towards Cho-in, but Cho-in controlled Boss Young-sik and attacked Gyu-nam. Boss Young-sik's head with a stun gun caught it in the middle of the iron railing. Gyu-nam wanted to help Boss Young-sik break free, but he couldn't find anyone and asked Boss Young-sik to settle on Gyu-nam. Boss Young-sik, who immediately fell to the ground and lost his consciousness, suffocated to death. Afterward, Young-suk held a funeral for his father, and his grief and crying made Gyu-nam determined to catch the murderer he saw that day. So in the middle of the night, he returned to the house with his friends and saw what happened on the surveillance video. But just as Gyu-nam was about to send the videotape to the police station, Cho-in, who wanted to destroy the evidence, returned. He saw the shoes at the door and led a group of people to rush into the house. The three of them who saw the situation was not good immediately left through the back door, but thought that the videotape as evidence was still in the house. Gyu-nam can only turn back again. And because everyone rushed in and got the videotape, Gyu-nam could only hide to Cho-in, but the alert Cho-in still discovered Gyu-nam. He controlled the others to surround him without saying a word. From now on, Gyu-nam's skills are flexible. He turned over like a monkey and left the house. However, when Gyu-nam was about to drive away, he saw a Cho-in who was alone at the door. So Gyu-nam turned into a hunter and blocked Cho-in with inappropriate legs and feet in a dead end. To prevent him from controlling others with his eyes, Gyu-nam turned on the headlights of the van and pointed at Cho-in. But when Gyu-nam thought that the winning ticket was in hand, Cho-in turned on the headlights of the car to control the three innocent people who appeared nearby. In the future, Gyu-nam struggled to shoot Cho-in with a stun gun, and he escaped. If Gyu-nam sends the unconscious Cho-in and videotapes to the police station, the police on duty not only treat Gyu-nam as a drug addict, but also receive the black plastic bag on Cho-in's head without authorization despite Gyu-nam's warning. The police officer at the time was controlled and almost hit by a bullet. He could only grab the policeman's pistol and chase Cho-in into the subway station. The entanglement made Cho-in very annoyed. To find the Gyu-nam who mixed into the crowd, he angrily controlled everyone in the subway station. Gyu-nam was instantly exposed to the still crowd. Facing the righteous Gyu-nam with only contempt and mockery, he immediately controlled everyone to seize on Gyu-nam and surrounded the man. Gyu-nam once again exceeded Cho-in's expectations. Born with supernatural power, he got rid of the layers of human walls and rushed towards the frenzied Cho-in with a bang. The frenzied Cho-in could only control a mother to throw her child towards the galloping train. Although Gyu-nam rushed up despite everything to save the baby, he was seriously injured when he was hit by a train. At this time, after the crowd finally regained consciousness, the mother looked at Gyu-nam holding her child and regarded him as a puppet, and Gyu-nam's body began to collapse. Blood gushed from his forehead in an instant. Cho-in on the side boasted and laughed at this uncontrollable person. After confirming that Gyu-nam's heartbeat disappeared, Cho-in left the subway station with satisfaction. But Cho-in quickly discovered that the police had already found his place. In the police officer's walkie-talkie, Cho-in also learned that Gyu-nam was still alive. Choen fell into anxiety again. Angrily, he immediately controlled the innocent police officers to start moving and shot them one by one in another room. The next day, Nam, who had been self-healing for life, returned to the auto repair shop. At first, his friends convinced him to give up fighting with others and handed the matter over to the police. However, Nam always believed that the police could not catch Choen at all. It seemed to be his destiny, and after learning of the situation, his friends still supported Nam's idea and prepared to find Choen together. But the three of them didn't know that Choen had become crazier and crazier. He even robbed the bank and destroyed all the evidence in the surveillance video. That night, Choen returned to his mother who hadn't seen him for more than 20 years. Sure enough, as he expected, the police had already found his mother based on the clues, so Choen planned to kill his mother and cut off all contact with him. But even after being controlled by Choen, the mother's eyes still left tears of longing for her son. Choen couldn't bear to do it. He immediately took away all the police officers who searched and controlled them to open the manhole cover of the sewer and committed suicide. On the other side, the friends were looking for Choen, but on the way, they were first discovered by Choen, and controlled his friends and almost shot himself. After his friends regained their senses, he finally saw Choen on the rooftop. He hurriedly got out of the car and chased him up and came to the apartment. Choen uses the neighborhoods to express his anger to Nam. He told Nam that if Nam had calmly accepted Boss Yumsik's death, then the matter would not have been a big deal, but now he is still chasing after him, but he refuses to let Nam accept punishment. After speaking, Choen kept asking the residents to jump down from the upper floor. Seeing that he was unable to prevent the tragedy from happening, Nam, who was hoarse, could only close his eyes and curl up in place. After all this was done, Choen felt that he had a headache. So he staggered away from the location. At this time, Nam's friend suddenly fired a flash at Choen. But in white light, Choen with impaired vision still controlled the two of them and took them away from the location. Nam, who chased Choen later, found that the two friends were hung on a rope. He was knocked out by Choen who was ambushed on the side. And when Nam woke up again, he was already hung up by Choen. Seeing that the lives of his friends were on the line, he begged Choen to stop. The merciless Choen not only let his friends shave off the bench under their feet but also kicked over the chair under Nam's feet and left the apartment. Nam was very happy to suffer from suffocation, but he was still strong to survive and used his body to drive the rope to touch the utility knife on the beam of the room. After breaking free from the shackles, Nam immediately cut the ropes around the necks of his friends. But at this time, the two of them are already dead, so full of grief and anger Nam immediately chased Choen, only to see the triumphant Choen take away the controlled factors. So Nam quickly drove and chased Choen, but Choen found that his eyes had become blurred and Choen's car had a car accident after he lost his vision. Seeing that Nam was about to chase, Choen tried his best to control all the vehicles at the intersection in an attempt to prevent Nam, who was approaching, from turning on the acceleration switch hidden in the car. The dilapidated small van immediately broke through Choen's defenses like a bow and arrow from the string. Upon seeing this, Choen quickly fired and drove towards Nam, who could only change his direction to avoid the bullets. Choen took the opportunity to bring Young Suk to a nearby office building. On the roof of the building, Nam found that Choen had controlled Young Suk to stand on the edge of the roof. So he ran to Young Suk without saying a word, but Choen shot him from behind. Although Nam fell again, he still did not want to give up hope. But in his angry questioning, Young Suk fell to the inside of the rooftop. Choen hadn't had time to be surprised. Nam suddenly broke out and hugged him and jumped out of the rooftop. The two of them instantly landed on Nam's parked van like a meteor. But as the heavy rain fell, he gradually woke up from his coma. Nam also survived another tragedy. Nam, who was treated after climbing out of the van, saved his life. Paralyzed, he can only rely on a wheelchair to move, and Young Suk realized his dream of becoming a flight attendant and began to take care of himself, but in the subway station, a child accidentally fell into the tracks. Seeing that the train was about to arrive, Nam were anxious instantly regained their mobility and successfully put the little girl on the platform. Young Suk that looking at kind Nam, she immediately smiled with joy. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more movie recaps.